Hey everybody, welcome to my channel. My name's Betty, but to the ones out there that love my videos, that leave me nice comments, that leave me emails, that make me tear up of the love and joy, thank you so much. I thoroughly appreciate you. And if someone hasn't told you that you are beautiful or handsome today, I am telling you, you are beautiful and you are very handsome. And let me tell you something else. You have all of the beauty and qualities inside and out that you need and the tools to be able to help other people. I come here to inspire each and every one of you to become a better you every single day. It's not easy out here. It's hard, and many people are evil, but we can rise above the evil and we can balance it out. And we can have the strength and the honor, and we can make people feel better and take that evil and throw it out the window. Please subscribe to my channel. Please leave a like, please leave a comment. Whether they be good or bad, I still like to read them and engage in all the blessings and amazing people that I have met throughout the years on this YouTube. I just want to give you a big thank you. And let's go. It's time for the video now. Hello everyone, and we are back. Today we are going to continue reading The Adventures of Peter Gray. Now before, if you didn't hear about what Peter Gray went through for the first 2 chapters, there's a video that you can go look at. Today we're gonna be reading it slower and more of an ASMR so that you can fall deeply to sleep and be restful as you listen to this magical fiction story about a fox named Peter Gray. It was Valentine's Day, and every one of my species and others, I suppose, were cheery from perking ear to swishing tail. In every marketplace, husbands kissed their wives, kits, cubs, and humans. Kids I never noticed before shyly gave presents to their friends. Crushes got crushed, and young couples held paws together. As I stood across the street, waiting for wagons to clear the way, a lone conversation nearby caught my attention. Ears flickering and focused forward, I glanced at a happy tiger, a couple down at the corner. The tigress took the flowers happily and kissed her lover's cheek. "Why, thank you, honey," she smiled, smelling each one. "You are the sweetest." I gagged and walked into the schoolyard. Lucky otter. While the boys and girls played in the bustling schoolyard before school started, I inched my way inside along its aging brick wall. No teachers in sight, save for Miss Gulliman by the main doors, whose demeanor suggested boredom. I spotted the prettiest vixens not too far into the yard. Abby and Constance Anderson, 13-year-old twin sisters, with fur finer than their dresses and eyes like the yellow sun. I casually walked over noticing a familiar pinkish face nearby. James Lawton was playing a game of catch the robber with Lance and a few friendly to the human boy. He took his jacket off in the cool air, and I grinned at how warm it felt outside. From what my raccoonish friend had said yesterday as we three played kick the can, the human boy had earned himself friends. "That's wonderful, Jamie," I proudly barked. "Who are they?" Only some cubs at school," James spoke, passing the can to Lance. "There's one Vern who calls me Monkey and Pinky." I perked my ears up. Is he a coyote with a mean scrawl and a couple cronies? James promptly nodded, and I glanced back to Lance with our own scrawls. That's Gavin Flint for you. "Harrison, don't pull at Eric's tail," Miss Gillian growled and moved towards two cubs. "Do you want me to get Miss Lesser out here?" Fear flashed across their muzzles, and they ran off. "That's what I thought. Jean, don't climb on that. Miss Lesser, I'll be mad." Can't blame 'em, fearing for the pressure. Lesser. Miss Lesser was the toughest teacher in school. An old Vinci, standing a foot taller than me, with eyes as piercing as her claws, and a stare that turned someone to stone. "Who do you think makes the statues around Central Park?" Everyone joked. Seeing Miss Gillian distracted, I wagged my way to the Anderson twins. "Hello there, ladies." I tipped my cap to each twin. "Remember me?" Both glanced at me, a blank expression on their faces. "Who are you?" one of the vixens asked. They loved to mess with me and pretend they had amnesia. "Surely you remembered the famous and quiet, handsome Peter Gray." I flashed my teeth, raising my eyebrows. "How about you, Constance?" I made eye contact with the vixen, who had a red beard in her hair. "Don't you remember me from last year when I offered you a flower for Thanksgiving?" Abby cleared her throat. "That was me," she pouted, her tail curling. "I'm Constance." "Idiot," Constance said. I folded my ears when I noticed other girls giggling behind them. And besides, why would we want to mingle with a poor urchin? Constance asked. "You're filthy." "Hey, who'd want to miss out on getting a kiss from me?" I asked, a wolfish grin on my muzzle. I immediately regretted it when both vixens raised their paws, snickering as they waltzed away, their tails up in the air. Not surprising, Peter, since you usually faint like a dainty woman every time a girl kisses you. Someone spoke behind me. I turned to find Lance and James snickering together. Hey, I barked. That wasn't what you thought it was. I may be a human, but I ain't dumb, James remarked, crossing his arms. The human was amused. It didn't feel one iota ashamed about it. Still, James said, then chuckled. I can't believe you humiliated yourself like that. He bent over laughing, and Lance patted the lad's back with a wagging tail. It's not the first time Peter's kicked his own tail, Lance said between breaths. This one time, last Valentine's Day, he tried to kiss a teacher on the cheek. But Peter slipped and fell on his head instead. My ears had been folded down, but perked up. Oh, really, Mr. I love you, Patty Jones, I said, giving a glancing grin to James. Oh yeah, you didn't know? Last Valentine's Day, Lancey here had a crush on this cute raccoon from NoHo and tried giving her some flowers, while a badger, I lost it. I couldn't stop laughing. This made Lance blush a bright tomato red. I didn't know she was secretly dating that badger, Lance confessed, now festered. James raised an eyebrow. Really? Spotting another pair of pretty canine eyes, I tilted my muzzle. Excuse me, boys, I grinned. There's Caroline she's... Lord, what was her name? James followed the direction of my eyes towards her. Caroline McCrae, you mean? He asked. The she-wolf over there. He almost pointed, and I had to push his human hand down so she wouldn't see. Lance's ears slanted. Tell me you ain't going Casanova again, Peter, he pleaded as I ignored him and made my way over to the pretty she-wolf. You funeral, Peter? I strolled over to Caroline, a pretty she-wolf my age. She wore a brown striped dress under her coat, and her hair was tied up in a ponytail. Soon as she saw me, I grinned and gazed into her auburn eyes. Has anyone ever told you how pretty your eyes are? She blushed. Jackpot. You must be Carolyn McGray. It was more a statement than a question. The name's Peter Gray, and your lovely eyes are so autumn. Ah, thank you, she replied. Her tail wagged behind her, was in proper order. I also noticed her twiddling her thumbs, and her ears flicked, probably nervous. Ah, thank you, she replied. Her tail wagged behind her, so my luck was in proper order. I also noticed Caroline, one of her friends said, saw me, then gave me a friendly smile. Oh, come on. Do you really want to be the Valentine of that fellow? Caroline widened her eyes. Peter Gray, she asked, the street urchin, originally thinking it was a good title for me. I nodded with pride. The honor is mine. I bent forward with a sweep of my paw. In all my days on the street, I'd witnessed so many things no regular New Yorker saw on a daily basis. I'd slept in trash cans dirtier than a dip in the Hudson River, been to New Jersey, bartered for food, even gone days without food. Never in my street life, though, save for a few mothers of friends, have I ever been slapped by a girl. Ooh, Caroline screeched and gave me a right hook. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Stars danced across my eyes. I struggled to stay standing. What the? Oh, I yelped, feeling the sting on my cheek. What was that for? You could have fleas, she spat. Anger tinted my mood. Hey, who are you calling flea-ridden? I asked, still cringing at the imprint on my muzzle. I got my footpaws and pointed to her. My fur is cleaner than a priest's heart. I give you a compliment and you slap me like a rug. What the heck? Stop lying about it, mutt, someone said behind us, causing my tail to stay on end. We know you're full of fleas. My ears perked. I peeked around to see a familiar muzzle appear from a gathering crowd of students. A coyote with an attitude and a mind blinker than any empty newspaper. He wore bluish overalls and balled his paw into confident fist. Out of all the bullies of mine, I found him the most annoying. "Hello, Gavin." I raised an eyebrow. "Why don't you go back to the workhouse, Mutt?" He sneered, baring his teeth. "You don't belong here." "You're one to talk, Mama's yote," I spat. "Where is Miss Flint, anyway?" "She's kinda hard to miss in plain sight, Gavy." He lunged for me at the fat joke when a high voice came from nowhere and shrieked, "What in the name of Queen Victoria is going on out here?" My fur bristled in less than a second, and I froze in utter fear. Oh, dang it, not her. Great, another familiar muzzle that hated my guts. As I turned to her, all the blood in my muzzle flushed away. "Hello there, Miss Lesser, ma'am." From how quiet the schoolyard had gotten, all the other boys and girls had to be watching, waiting for my demise. Happy Valentine's Day." She grabbed my right ear with her claw. "You?" she said in an accusatory tone. "You have the honest gall to come to this public building and bring your filthy footpaws to my schoolyard." "I'm not dirty," I barked. Her nails pinched deeper, making me squirm as she pulled me along with her toward the gate entrance. "If ever see you set foot one in this place again, if you even try to harass any of the girls again," she threw me out on my butt, and I winced as the air was knocked from my lungs. "I'll have police wolves arrest you and personally see that you and your fleas rot in jail." She closed the gate. "Go. Get out of here before I do it, British witch." She turned to the other cubs. "Recess is over. Get to class. Go on." Everyone followed her command. Lance and James gave me an apologetic looks. To vent off steam, I ran to David Kinnick's bakery. Taking a couple lefts, rights, and jogging all the way, I staggered inside without a care other than lunch. Despite the morning's events, I was starving. I begged David for a 5-cent muffin, so I had to pay him off by pretending to be interested in his day. "So," Alan the rat gave me this look after I called his milk sour, and not to mention the leaky bag of salt he gave me. After that, Leonard Friedman, that yote trader a couple of blocks down on Orange Street, offered me some cruddy mittens for little Johnny. They didn't even fit my boy. I threatened to beat his tail off him, and he offered to give me a pair of old white ones that belonged to a fox couple who had tried for a cub. I had no choice. That dang coyote thinks he's so smart, but this old wolf has a few tricks up his sleeve. After that, and they say women talk too much these days. I held my muzzle up with a paw. So I went and waited. Boy, are you actually listening? David barked, making my chin bang onto the wooden countertop. Or will I have to add that to your tab? Ow. I rubbed my chin and groaned, still feeling rotten about this morning's incident. If anything, David mentioning my tab didn't help. How's the sun doing? I got my reply when I heard a cry come from upstairs. A she-wolf cradled the cub in her arms as she came down the stairs, shooing away Johnny's worries. I'd seen Johnny up close a few times. He had Rosie's emerald eyes and a smile that I thought every baby should have from their mothers. Kind and unique, yet sharp enough to not fool the average gentleman. His story interrupted. He glanced back at me. So how's life been, Peter? David asked as he kissed the top of Rosie's head. Having a happy Valentine's Day? I gave him no reply as he read the disappointment on my face. Peter, I keep telling you to stop flirting with the females. They're nothing but trouble. Rosie stared at her husband. What do you mean by that, Davy? She asked wearily. Do I cause you trouble? Oh, except for you, dear. He saved himself. The point is, you can't keep looking for a girl when you aren't who you pretend to be. Real love happens when you don't see it coming. He turned to Rosie and his cub, put his arm around her. That's how I met my beautiful wife, young lad. You should wait and help make the best of Valentine's Day for those who can't. I laid my change on the counter, along with a quarter tip. I'll consider it. Good day, Rosie, David, and little Johnny. After waving to them from the frosty window, I strolled down Cross Street. I knew David was right, but wasn't ready to admit it. To distract myself, I went past the smelly tenements and smoky shopping buildings with a curled towel embracing the warm day. Occasionally, I tipped my cap to a pair of pretty eyes shining up at me from under the cloudless sky, or smelled the sweets that vendor gents held in their arms. Still, I remained vigilant for the ruthless thug or two lurking in the rowdy neighborhood. On my way to one of my usual hideaways, I spotted two men secretly holding paws together. One was a reddish fox, and the smaller one a mouse. I knew them well, being they gave me scraps back in my orphanage days. The tall fox called himself Edward, and the mouse Hansel. Hansel wore a dirty brown coat that covered overalls, while Edward wore a shirt that probably had looked fancy once, but now was tattered. Both were in their late 30s, yet they seemed young and bright as my shining fur. Stopping in my snowy tracks, I could see they weren't getting popular looks. I saw scrawls that matched the presser lessers, but worse than anything she could have thrown at me. The looks were pure disgust, like sour fruit. Faster than a crossing cavie, someone standing nearby threw a piece of trash at them. Another hurled a dead rat at their muzzles, but missed by a foot. "Hey, look, 'tis your cousin," someone howled. "Why don't you kiss that?" A young mountain lion nearby sold flowers, and some of his customers gave Hansel and Edward ugly looks. "Get out of here, Krutz," the vendor growled. "You don't belong here." Hansel and Edward walked away, clearly hurt by their insults, as the cat went back to selling roses from his special cart. I stood there frowning, remembering how Gavin had treated me earlier, not to mention the presser lesser. Make the best of Valentine's Day for those who can't, I recalled David's words. Grinning at the mountain lion, I walked over to the cart and glimpsed at the flowers. He had to be no older than 40, but seemed happy with his job. Too bad he was going to have less roses to sell. Soon as the mountain lion gave a rose to the next customer, I slipped behind and grabbed 2 decent roses with saucer-wide petals. By the time the mountain lion noticed and yelled for me to stop, I disappeared from the street. It took a couple of seconds, but I spotted their curled tails among the wagging. "Hansel, Eddie, wait," I huffed. I skidded to a halt and saw their surprised expressions. Unashamed to show my affection in front of passing folks, I presented the roses to them. "Happy Valentine's Day. I got these for you." Hansel's brown eyes lit up in a smile next to Edward's grin of white canines. "Peter, you little scamp." Hansel let go of his friend's paw, and I gave one of the roses to him. "You did not need to do this." I handed the other to Edward. "Of course I did," I said, lifting my cap to see them clearer. My noggin thought that flower seller wouldn't mind me borrowing these. The older fox and mouse laughed, putting a smile on my muzzle. It seemed yesteryear when I saw them from the orphanage window. 2 distinct immigrants from rural Germany in search for quiet opportunity and escape. Every morning on the way to work, Edward came by an open window in my bedroom and left bread slices from the market. On special holidays, Hansel left me chocolate bars or candy sweets. Their charity always made me smile. Edward didn't speak often, though, due to something that happened to the poor red fox in his past. As much as his miming was confusing, I respected him and his secrets. After all, we all made mistakes. Best keep hidden. The mouse petted my head fur, and I hurried to put my cap back on. Our shift ended, and Edward's too tired to play now. He gently placed the rose in his pocket. Keep your head clear, Peter, and be safe. Can do, I chuckled, happily wagging my tail. Happy Valentine's Day, I said again. I tipped my cap. And don't let others get the best of you. We waved goodbye to each other, leaving me to watch them disappear around the street corner. Feeling merry as a schoolboy, I climbed up a fire escape in a nearby alley. While climbing to see the view, the gentle wolf in me made sure not to peek inside the windows or look down until I got to the top. It was difficult, but I hadn't faltered this far and wouldn't after 1,000,000,000 times too many. At last, I felt the sunlight as it sank down from the blue sky. I saw the bustling tenements and the upstate houses from my spot, the smoke from the workhouses, the immigrant ships sailing on the Hudson, their flags waving in the breeze, everything with beauty, made of wood and brick and smoky cobblestone. And as the sun sank and Lady Liberty's light arose in the dark, my thoughts were... Then my stomach growled again. I still need a full stomach, though. That is it for this chapter. I will see you again soon. I hope that you fell asleep or relaxed. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, tickle that bell, and leave me a comment below. As you can see, I love reading. Keep a fire in your heart, a smile on your face, and be kind to one another, 'cause this ain't gonna last forever. We're not promised 5 minutes. Remember, your Heavenly Father gave His only begotten Son so that you can go to heaven. It's your choice. Choose wisely. And I'm out.